May 1st, International Workers' Day. But for Marco, it was just another morning before sunrise. He walked past closed shops, empty streets, and blinking streetlights. The city was still asleep, but Marco was already sweating in his uniform, pushing a heavy cart full of cleaning supplies. Nobody looked at him. Nobody thanked him. But Marco kept going day after day. He worked quietly in office buildings where others made plans and spoke big words in a language he didn't understand. He didn't hate his job. He hated feeling invisible. He knew he had more to give, more to be. And he believed somehow that learning English could change everything. So if this story speaks to you, if you're also working hard and dreaming bigger like this video, that simple click helps YouTube show you more content that supports your journey to better English and a better life. And Marco's journey? It was just beginning. Welcome to Stories to Learn English, the channel where your English gets better every day. Hit subscribe and let's get started. Marco had worked as a janitor for nearly 6 years. Every morning, his hands smelled like bleach before most people even had their first coffee. He cleaned floors that others walked on without thinking. He wiped glass doors so spotless that no one even noticed them. But Marco noticed everything. He noticed how the office workers greeted each other in English. He noticed the screens filled with emails and video calls he couldn't understand. And sometimes while picking up papers, he'd see messages like, "Let's schedule a call," or "Thanks for your feedback." Short phrases, simple words, but powerful. They made Marco feel small, but also curious. Every day as he mopped the floors and emptied trash cans, he repeated those words silently to himself. Schedule, call, feedback. He didn't have a notebook. He didn't have a plan, but deep down, something had started. A spark. One night, after a long shift, Marco passed a small used bookstore on his walk home. In the window was a dusty paperback titled English for Everyday Life. It cost $3. Marco didn't hesitate. He didn't know it yet, but that small decision would open a door he had long stopped knocking on. And just like that, his routine began to shift, quietly but powerfully. It started with one page a night. Marco would sit at the edge of his small bed, eyes heavy with sleep, flipping through that old English book with a pencil in hand. He didn't understand much, but he kept reading, kept underlining, kept whispering words out loud, hoping the walls wouldn't judge him. Then, one morning, everything changed. While cleaning the main conference room, he overheard something. A man was on a call speaking fast in English. And suddenly, Marco recognized a phrase. "Thanks for your time." He froze, not because he understood everything, but because he understood something. That moment hit deeper than any paycheck. It was proof that his effort mattered, proof that even from the shadows he was growing. That evening, Marco skipped dinner and went to the library instead. He signed up for a free English learning app on an old computer and spent 2 hours repeating words, phrases, listening to slow conversations. The world hadn't changed, but Marco had, and that change was just getting started. One word, one step at a time. Learning English wasn't easy for Marco. His phone was old. His memory was tired. His free time? Almost none. He studied on buses during lunch breaks and sometimes while standing in cleaning closets with headphones on, repeating phrases like, "How are you?" and "Can you help me?" Some days the words stuck. Other days they slipped away. But Marco never stopped. He wrote down new vocabulary on scraps of paper and taped them to his mop handle, his lunchbox, even the inside of his locker. Opportunity, improve, confidence. Each word was a seed, and he was planting a forest. One day, a manager dropped her notebook. Marco picked it up and said without thinking, "Here you go." She smiled and replied, "Oh, you speak English?" Marco nodded nervously. Just 2 words, but they echoed inside him like a symphony. Soon, he began listening to short podcasts on his way to work. He started watching motivational videos with English subtitles. At night, he practiced speaking in front of a cracked mirror, pretending he was in an interview or introducing himself to someone new. People didn't notice the change right away, but Marco did. He felt more alert, more alive. Each new word made his world bigger. And as the calendar moved closer to another May 1st, Marco realized something. This year, he wasn't just surviving, he was transforming. It was the morning of May 1st, but this time, Marco wasn't wearing his uniform. He stood in front of a building he used to clean, this time with a resume in his hand. 3 months earlier, a friendly office worker had noticed his progress. She offered to help him write a resume in English and told him about a position. Office assistant, bilingual preferred. Marco almost didn't apply, but then he remembered the old book, the mop handle with words taped to it, the podcasts, the mirror, the effort. So he said yes. The interview wasn't perfect. He forgot a few words. His hands were shaking, but he smiled. He listened. He answered the best he could. And when the manager asked, "Why do you want this job?" Marco replied, "Because I've worked in this building for years, and I'm ready to work with people, not just around them." They hired him. That day, Marco didn't just get a better job, he got dignity, voice, choice. He got the chance to grow, not just survive. And every time he hears someone say, "Thanks for your time," he smiles because now he understands every word. Marco's journey is a reminder that learning English doesn't start in a classroom. It starts with a decision to not give up, to not stay silent, to believe that your voice matters, even if it's in a language you're still learning. Let's take a moment to remember 5 powerful words from his story. Not just vocabulary, but tools for change, opportunity, something that gives you a chance to grow. Confidence, the feeling that you can do something, even when it's hard. Improve, to get better, one step at a time. Feedback, information that helps you grow. Dignity, the quiet strength of knowing your worth. These aren't just English words, they're part of your story too. So here's your challenge. Pick one of these 5 words and write a comment using it in a sentence. This will help you remember. and inspire others who are learning like you. Because every comment, every word you use brings you closer to fluency. On this Labor Day, let's remember every job has value, but every person has potential. Marco didn't wait for the perfect moment to start. He created his moment between brooms and break rooms, between tired feet and late night reading. You don't need fancy tools. You need courage. You don't need to be fluent today. You need to take one step and keep walking. So, if Marco's story inspired you, let the algorithm know you want more. Like this video so YouTube understands what helps you, and share in the comments. What new word did you learn today? Your story is being written, one word at a time, and the world is waiting to hear it in English.